Everyone draws faces the same way. One vertical line, four horizontal lines. But there's one detail most people skip, and it's why proportions still look off, even when every line is perfect. Think you already know this method? It didn't nail your proportions the first time, did it? Something's missing, and I'm breaking it down step by step. Once we hit the face width step, you'll see why it's the most important line in the drawing. Let's get into it. Start with one vertical line down the center. This splits the face into left and right. Add the brow line underneath it. Now here's the part most tutorials skip. Add 3 more equal, evenly spaced lines below the brow line. Notice what you just created? That gap between 2 of those lines? That's where the mouth goes. Now, the face width. Take that same distance from the brow line to the chin line, and that's your width too. Before you add a single detail, you need 4 points locked down. 2 on the sides for width, 2 on top and bottom for height. But wait, what about the forehead? Simple. Add a 5th line above the brow, spaced the same distance as the others. That locks in the top of the head. Here's the part that matters most. If you skip this and jump straight into details or shading, your proportions will be off. Every time. Even if your shading looks amazing. Now we connect simple, straight lines to those boundary points, keeping it as basic as possible. The forehead takes roughly a half circle shape. The ears line up around the same level as the top of the nose. Add a simple line for the hairline, the neck, and the body, and that's it. You've now defined the outer boundary of the entire portrait. But that only controls the outside. What about the features inside the face? That's step 2, and it's simple. For every feature you're about to draw, add a rough oval or circle it, sized to match its shape. These shapes aren't precise. They're not meant to be. Their only job is to keep you from drawing outside that area once you get into the actual feature. At this stage, there's still no real likeness. That's normal. The outline isn't where resemblance comes from. Resemblance shows up later in the shading. The outline's only job is placement and control. Once you've done that, the outline phase is officially done. Time to move to the next stage. This next stage, you could call it shading, but I actually call it pre-export, because shading implies fine detail, and that's not what this stage is about. This is the stage where I'm preparing for the detail phase. It's technically a shading step, but it's not essential, and honestly, most people skip it completely. But I like adding it because it lets you push the facial details forward by about another 20%, past the outline. The features start settling into their natural position more. Not 100%, but noticeably more. It's a simple stage. You might look at it and think it's not worth doing and skip it. But it genuinely helps. It lets you build up detail later without constantly fighting to recheck proportions the hard way. Once I'm done, I blend it slightly with a tissue, then lift some of it back out with an eraser, just enough to keep the features from looking too busy or overworked. And once I'm satisfied with that level of detail, I'm ready for the final stage. Now you start adding the internal details, keeping the size of each feature in mind, something you already set up in the 2 stages after the outline. So at this point, you're not guessing, you're following a structure. So where do you start? What do you draw first? Personally, I start with the nose. It's what orients me to everything else, almost unconsciously. It works like muscle memory. Like driving a route you know so well, you arrive without remembering the actual drive. Once you're used to this process, you'll find yourself finishing the face without consciously tracking every step. By the final stage, I'm barely thinking about proportions anymore. I'm just focused on the nose, its shape, its size, and the surrounding features naturally fall into place. Next, I draw the brow bone, the cartilage above the eye, and the inner corner. That area is naturally darker since light doesn't reach it directly. Once you've drawn the size, thickness, and width of the first eyebrow, you'll notice the second eyebrow sits on the same horizontal line as the first. That makes it much easier to stay accurate, as long as you keep accounting for that slight tilt in the face, not a flat 180-degree line. Finishing the eyebrow naturally leads you into the eye. So how do you know the size of the eye? From the boundaries you set up at the very start, combined with the inner brow boundary. The distance between the outer corner of the eye and the ear boundary gives you a rough estimate. For the right eye, if you draw a flat horizontal line, you'll notice it sits higher than the corner of the other eye. That's because of the tilt in the face angle we talked about earlier. Here's an important point. The smile crease on the cheek actually starts right where the eye ends. That's what helps you position the mouth. The corner of the mouth typically starts around the first third of the eye on that same side. To double-check the right corner specifically, it usually starts around the middle of the eye. Now, these ratios shift a bit depending on expression. A wink, a raised jaw, a certain gaze. These aren't fixed rules. You always compare features against each other, not against a formula. The distance between the nose and the upper lip, remember those 4 horizontal lines from the start? One of them marked the bottom of the lower lip. So if you split that distance in half, you land right at the start of the upper lip. That's the real value of those early guidelines. They seem minor, but they become your reference for almost every feature after. Also keep the tilt of the mouth consistent with the same angle as the rest of the face. And don't judge the drawing too early just because a few features are in. You might think, this doesn't look right, and rush to fix it. As long as you're following the structure, the result will surprise you. The jaw angle here matters a lot. If it's off even slightly, it changes the whole likeness. Focus on getting that angle right. The ear also plays a role in the likeness. Don't stress over it. Compare its start and end points against the internal features, and you'll find its placement easily. Roughly, it starts around the middle of the nose and ends around the bottom lip line. I think you get what I mean by comparing at this point. We don't need to spend more time on it. For the hair, I use a Staedtler black, that's what I start shading with, plus an 8B pencil for the graphite work. I blocked in a rough boundary shape for the hair, but at this point it's not finished yet. It's still waiting for the highlight details, the shiny strands that'll show up bright against the rest. After that, I move to the darker sections and the gaps between the curls. Then the shirt, just a light shading pass with a bit of blending on the shirt and background. I'm keeping the effort minimal there on purpose, because this video is about nailing proportions, not rendering every surface. I add the logo, the details on the headband, and the hand. A few features still need small adjustments. The nose didn't need extra shading, but the headband needed to sit a bit lower, closer to the ear. If the face looks slightly wide at this point, that's expected. The portrait isn't finished yet. I'm not worried because I followed the core structure from the start. So I know the issue isn't the overall proportions. It's just a few small details that still need refining, and they'll settle by the end. That's the whole point of working from structure instead of guessing. I can trust the process. To push the details further, I go back in with the Staedtler pencil and draw the strands of hair that stick out past the headband. Then I use an electric eraser to carve out negative space in the hair to make it look more realistic. As long as your eye size is locked in, this part is easy. You already know exactly where to leave the highlight, the little flash of light in the eye. After that, a few small things might still need adding, like a touch more shading on the eyelid, or some fine detail like small skin texture. If you made it with me all the way to this final stage, you already know more about proportions than most people who draw faces. Now I want to know, what was the hardest part for you? Drop it in the comments. That's literally how I decide what to cover in the next video. And if this helped you see proportions differently, hit like and subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. That's exactly the kind of content I'm making going forward.